Let's take up the lesson data file handling, and today I'll take the topic opening and closing of files, right? So first of all, let's take this opening of files. There are two streams. One is your if stream, which opens a file, which is used for opening a file in input mode, and the off stream, which is for the output, right? Now when we want to open a file, we have to make objects of these classes, and then we can open a file using these objects, right? Okay, now there are two ways in which files can be opened. The first one is using constructors of the classes if stream and off stream. The second one is using the open function. Okay, so let's first look at how to open a file using the constructors of the class. So here this is opening a file using the constructors, right? Now supposing this is your if stream. Now I have to make an object of these classes in order to use them. So here I am making an object obj1, and now here I write the name of the file like this and the mode in which I want to open the file. Okay, whenever an object is made, the constructor is called. That's what we have read, right? Now in this case, the student.dat, which is the name of the file, and this is the mode. iOS in is the mode in which the file has to be opened, right? Mode in which the file has to be opened. So in stands for input. So here we are saying that open the file student.dat in the input mode. So these two arguments are passed to the constructors of this if stream class, and the file gets opened. Okay, now supposing I want to use this off stream. Off stream is for output. Now if stream is input, here I have written input. This is for reading a file, right? Now when I write off stream, again I'll take one more object like this, off stream file1, and here I write result.dat iOS out like this. So here again I am opening a file result.dat. In this case I am opening it in the out mode, that is the output mode, which is for writing to a file, right? So this particular statement, this calls the constructor of the offstream class, and it passes into the constructor these two parameters, that is the name of the file and the mode in which the file is to be opened, and then the file is opened for us, right? So this is a very simple way of opening a file. In case we do not give this iOS in when I am using the if stream class, then automatically it will be opened in the input mode only, right? Same way with the output mode. If we do not give iOS out, then the default is iOS out only for off stream, right? Now this is opening a file. When we want to close a file, we write obj1.close, file1.close like this, right? So this closes, the first statement obj1.close it closes the input connection, it closes the input stream, right? The if stream obj1 which we had associated with that particular file, so it closes that input connection to the file, right? Same way file1 dot close closes the output connection to the file, right? So in every program, wherever you open a file using an input stream or output stream or whatever, that is, you're opening an input stream, output stream, you should always take care that the input stream and output streams are closed before ending the program, right? It's not compulsory, it's not necessary that you do it, but it's a good practice to close the connections before terminating your program, right? Okay, now the next way to open a file is the open function. Now here we are not using the constructor, this is a method which is given to us. Now I say if stream file1. Now here we say file1 dot open, and now we write this. Supposing I write employee dot dat and then iOS in, like this, right? So this is the way to open the file using the open function. So here I am opening the file employee.dat in the input mode, fine. Now off stream file2, and I write file2.open result.dat iOS out, like this. Okay, so this is how we will use the open function for opening a file. I can use the same input stream. Supposing I say if stream file1 and I say file1 dot open and I write here employee dot dat and I write iOS in, like this, iOS in, right? Now after this I have some statements here for reading and all, which we'll do later, fine. Now then I write file1 dot close, and then again I write file1 dot open, and this time I am opening another file, iOS in, right? Now see what we are doing here. I am opening an input stream file1 and I am using that object to open the employee.dat file, and we are doing some operations on that, right? Now I want to open one more file. Now instead of opening one more object like what I did in this case, if you see I am opening two objects, file1 and file2, like this, right? Supposing I want to use only one object, then we will do it like this. Here I am closing this file1 dot close, that means it closes the input connection to the file. Now which file? To this file employee.dat, right? So that connection is closed, and here you are using the open function to create one more connection. Now in this case I am opening the file student.dat with the same if stream object, right? Whereas in this case I am using two objects. So if you want to read from two files simultaneously, supposing I want to read one record from one file and another record from another file simultaneously, in that case this what we have done here, this will work, right? But supposing you want to read one file first and then read the other file, so it is one after the other. So if you want to do something like that, in that case this second one which we have done here, that is opening a file, doing all the things that we want, then closing the file, then opening the next file and then closing it. so that thing will work, right? Now the next thing that I would like to discuss is the different types of file modes that you have, right? Now I already told you about this. This is we put it like this: iOS 2: and in. This is the input mode. So whenever you want to read a file, it will be opened in the input mode. iOS out. This is the output mode. This is for writing to a file. Now you should remember one thing, that whenever we open a file in the output mode, what it does is it erases all the contents of the file which was previously written onto that, right? So basically whenever we open a file in the output mode, the previous contents in the file get erased, and whatever you write will be written as a new record or new line or whatever, right? So I say, supposing a file has the student's name, I say Amit, the marks here, right? Then I have Sunil, and then the marks here, right? Asha, and then some marks here. Now this was the earlier content of the file. Supposing I call this as student.dat, right? Now if I say off stream file 1, and I write here student.dat and then iOS out, right? In this case, this file will be opened, that is the student.dat will be opened, and all the earlier contents of the file, that is these 3 records, this will be erased. And if you write something like here I write Nidhi and I write some marks here, now this will be the first record of your file. The earlier records get erased by default. That is how the output mode works. Okay, now there is one more mode, which is the iOS append mode, right? Now this mode will open the file in the output mode again. I mean, it will open the file for writing. I'll put it like this: it will open the file in the append mode where the earlier contents are not erased. The earlier contents are not erased, and the content that we write is appended or added, right, to the already existing information in the file. That's what it means, right? So if you want the earlier contents to be intact and you don't want that to be erased, then iOS app, that is the append mode, is the best one. Fine. So these are the commonly used file modes. We have more file modes, like one more file mode I like to discuss here is iOS trunk, right? iOS trunk, again, it is off stream thing, that is, it opens the file for writing only, and here again it truncates all the records. It truncates all the earlier contents. So that is your iOS trunk, and the file is truncated to 0 length, right? The other modes that we have are no create, no replace. No create means the file will not be created if it does not exist, and no replace means no replace means the file will not open if the file already exists, right? So you can't replace an existing file with a new file. Okay, so the most commonly used file modes that we have put here is this is your input mode, output mode, right, and the append mode. So you should be clear about using these modes. So most of the programs that we will be using for writing, it will be most appropriate if you use this iOS append mode, right? So with that, I come to the end of this session on opening and closing of files. Thank you.